Why, hello there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat33 and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order Last Days of Europe as Baryatia. In the last video, our glorious rebellion began. We started moving troops here in the south, and we're trying to hold out in the north here a little bit. Although, we're not having the most success. It's like this love, no one has ever played them before, Lamau, apart from Pacifica. I didn't find anything special. It was the Yat. You should have gotten a notification for it. Anyway. Ooh, Hashbia. We're moving forward in the south. Actually starting to prevail a little bit up here. It's got an ad for a movie about a serial killer among us, Santa Claus. What was it? Did it have David Harbour in it? Because I think I know which one you're talking about. Violent Night, I think it's called. Yeah, Violent Night. Yeah. I saw posters for that. I went to the movies yesterday, which I don't go to the movies much anymore. But I went to, went and saw Wakanda Forever. And I liked it well enough. I actually didn't see the first Black Panther, so I was a little confused, I'm not gonna lie. But I could pick up the pieces, and it's not horribly, I can kind of infer what did or did not happen. And then I went and saw The Menu, and that movie was fucking spectacular. I can't recommend it enough. The Menu was great. Nothing to lose but your chains. Come, comrades, join our righteous struggle. Dream of a world in which no man is a slave, no man is a subject to the cruel whip or the bullet. A world where democracy and the worker come before all. We can make this world a reality, comrades, and all we need is your strength, your anger, and your hope. Join us, comrades, and together we will save a motherland from the strife that engulfs it, and usher in a new age of peace and prosperity. Well, it's also really, really boring. I don't know, I didn't watch it. Wakanda Forever was okay. Democracy trademark worthy. We're the only legal political party, pretty much. We're being pushed back a little bit up here. But we're making pushes down here. We did it, guys! This will surely aid in our efforts. God, we have fucking nothing. Jesus. Actually, we have some stuff over here. We just don't really have a court, it seems. It's like we need to save up for political power during greater coups, it seems. There we go. We got that set up. Let's get some schools going over in Baryatia. Used to be bugware if you drag up your Kuts War and did all the focuses, you could keep all the bonuses it gave you. Were only meant for the war, but you could keep them for the whole game. Ooh, not bad. Shit was so OP. I don't doubt it. Well, that went remarkably easier than I thought it would. On the stage of the opera house, Sabelin sat with the Central Committee, everyone waiting avidly for the latest report from the front line. Finally, the radio operator raised her hand. Sabelin could read the message in the glimmer of her eyes and began to smile before she'd even spoken. Comrade, The tyrant is ours! Instantly, the crowd erupted in euphoria. Soldiers hugged one another, tears streaming down their faces as reports came in. Yagoda imprisoned, the enemy fleeing west, the NKVD surrendering en masse. Sablin couldn't help but grin. Irkutsk was theirs! Markiv stomped across the stage and thumped a crate of vodka on the table. Ha! From my private stash. If we ever had a cause for celebration, this is it! Snatching a bottle out of a crate, he tossed it to Sablin. Laughing with his comrades, he shrugged from the bottle, splashing some on the maps heaped on the table. Sitting down, Sablin looked around happily. Marquis was joking with his men. Ulyanovska glanced down glass after glass of vodka. Even Braun was smiling for once. Catching Pachuro's eyes, Sablin shot her a smile. She grinned back at him, raising her glass in a mock salute. We did it, Valera, she shouted, already slurring. Sablin smirked. She'd always been a lightweight. Taking of her pull, Sablin felt lighter than air. They still had a long way to go towards the end. They still had a long road to go down to end Russia's chaos and bring her people into a new age of greatness. But the revolution could wait until tomorrow. Today, they'd paint Vernudinsk red. In the end, the tyrants always fall. Always. I don't know if we're going to lose this focus tree, so I'm going to wait and make sure we get that infrastructure. It's going to be in Irkutsk now. But I will take that little infrastructure. Yep. Look at that. Just have warlord development over here, it seems. Just waiting for the day Jeff in the background just turns his head and looks directly in the camera. One day. Looking at some of the stuff we can do. I guess we're gonna have to decide whether we want to do the wholesome Reddit path or the less wholesome path. Motherfucker going weeping angel mode. You're talking about the Jeff. We are victorious, and Yagoda sits in our prison awaiting his fate. We have proven our strength and will on the battlefields of Siberia, and we can now transform our region into a worker's dream. Let those who doubted our chances of success be crushed by the boot of Leninism. Nevertheless, our territory has been ravaged by war, and much of the infrastructure we had was damaged. Our nation must now begin the reconstruction of the land and build a state much like the old Soviet state under Lenin. If we want to unify the motherland and help the struggling Russians, being oppressed by dictators and mismanaged by inept democracies, we must create a strong union that can fight for them. It's also necessary we create a model province to show our enemies that we are the only ones that can create a perfect Russia. No one can stop the masses from achieving their goals in the end. The only thing we have to lose is our chains, yada yada. I'm getting some, notifications. Just want to check. Going on there. There we are. Prime Minister of Australia resigns. Interesting. Getting some new, I don't know if they're new, but I'm just noticing some of these newspapers now. Didn't know anything about the prison breakout before, for example. Okay, we can go ahead and integrate Irkutsk, and it looks like we probably should do that. We can prepare raids against some of these guys. We'll go ahead and do that. We can give you a new trait. Actually, we can't. Move all the troops over here. Australian nukes will come. Here's to hoping, huh? I want to check our development. Our poverty is dog shit, but it's going down. Our economy. We actually are doing okay. We have negative actual GDP growth. Can I get us to get some actual GDP growth? Have to up some of these. There we go. We have actual GDP growth. I know one really like moves borders. The key thing you used to have always. Oh yeah, they get this a little bit now. I just noticed that. I do like this, actually. Looks like this little bit that they can get if they win. It's been broken up into a couple different states as well. I like that a lot. I actually really like that. The revolution victorious. Sablin would have preferred to get married by the sea, but he'd have to be satisfied with Lake Baikal. Leaving his new wife, Nadeska, asleep in their compartment, he stepped into the corridor of a train carriage that bore them back to Verkhnudinsk. Outside the pine trees, rush under the light of the moonlight. Of the full moon, excuse me. Gazing into the forest for a moment, Sablin opened the window and was instantly assaulted by the freezing wind and the noise of a train passage. Lighting a cigarette, a rare luxury, he leaned against the wall of the carriage, exhaling occasionally out into the night. After a while, the door to the neighboring compartment slid open. Hair tousled, Peturo stepped into the corridor. Wordlessly, he offered her a cigarette. Waving it off, she said, "Having trouble sleeping, Valera?" Celine blew a thin stream of smoke out the window. He couldn't meet the eyes of his friend as he said, "Susanne, I should be happy. This is my wedding night. I love her, I do, but I just feel nothing." Sablin looked up at Peturo, tears filling his eyes. I keep thinking, how will it end? We face the most overwhelming obstacles, and every day I send men to die bloody and horrible deaths. What gives me the right? Oh, Susanne, I have such doubts. Peturo laid her hand lightly on Sablin's shoulders. Nothing worth having is without its price, Valera. When you doubt, find your courage, and remember that we fight for what is true and right. We believe in you, and so does every man, woman, and child in Russia who still has hopes for the revolution. Above all else, Valera, remember the revolution, and be true to yourself. Wiping his face, Sablin smiled through his tears. Susanne, I think sometimes that you are the strongest of us all. Looking into each other's eyes, the two friends smiled at one another as the train carried them into the night. Love has a ring, and a ring has no end. So we have 9% recruitable right now. Does that mean... Yep, I think we're demobilizing right now. And that's okay, honestly. Let's go ahead and stoke the fires. Let us promote our revolutionary ideals to make a better society. People become lethargic and fearful because of brutality and terror tactics of Yagoda, but cruelty is not about what socialism should be about. The workers should love their government, not be scared of it. Socialism is not the dread of what punishment is to come, but the anticipation of what reward is to be made. For socialism to work, it is in dire need of the support of its people. That is where Yagoda failed, but we will succeed. To achieve this, we will need some propaganda. We must appear as a loving and caring government to the populace. Posters will be around every corner, and the radios will be filled with revolutionary messages. Likewise, we must also give more rights to laborers in the factories and farms. We will have support in no time. I'm not sure yet which path I want to go down. I'm actually torn. How are we doing economically? We'll have a slight deficit, but nothing too bad. Sleepy Car and Pep, I know definitely the minority of people that will watch that. What I might end up doing, I might go ahead and leave it to the YouTube commenters to decide. I'm just glancing at the economy right now. Sorry. Sablin had really done it. He had won. He goaded on the rest of the corrupt NKVD bastards had finally gotten what was coming to them. Do commute post bowl, that could do it. That would work as well. Even as Boldyrev received this news with berry-contained glee, he also felt strongly concerned. Too many of Sablin's soldiers would never return home, and he had seen more than one of them weeping widow or grieving parents since the war had ended. The only question that remained was, would he be among them? In the middle of the day, as Boldyrev was washing dishes at the sink, a knock came at the door. He nearly dropped the plate he was holding into his excitement. He wasn't expecting any visitors. Rushing to the door, he threw it open. He almost could have cried at the sight that greeted him. There was his son, decked out in one of the finest uniforms that Sablin's forces had to offer, with a big grin plastered among his face. "I'm home, Papa," his son said, his voice almost cracking. I'm finally home." They embraced, with Boldyrev patting his son on the back to comfort him. Inviting his son inside, Boldyrev called over his wife, who was similarly overjoyed to still her son alive and well. They sat her son down with all the food he could want, and listened as he told him his best stories of conflict, concluding with the fact that he'd been appointed one of Sablin's guards for his distinguished service. For all Boldyrev cared, he could have been a deserter. He was just glad to see that his son was okay. In the end, nothing else matters. Anyone can see. Let's loot. Why did move to unmandate content, by the way? I think they're reworking it or something, and it caused too many problems to keep it around. I want to say. I don't know for certain though. I'll be honest. Let's invest this into the economy. We can go ahead, build new schools, get something going. Work on agricultural methods. Did I click agriculture? I did. Okay. Just need some time. There we go. Got some stab, some more support, and some rifles. There was some reason that they listed. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. Next, let's go ahead and do In Our Homes. As our triumphant revolution marches on, we cannot ever forget the rights of the workers form the very bedrock of the socialist ideals. Even now, the working men and women of Buryatia languish under laws from decades past, and are forced to make do with a barely functioning industrial sector. With our comrades in labor crying out for justice, the time has come to rush out in their aid. The General Secretary shall work to personally ensure that the rights of the workers in the new union are guaranteed. All of these reforms, however, will be for naught if our people cannot find work. To remedy this, we must begin a large-scale overhaul of our dilapidated factories to provide both ample work opportunities for the people and bring our industry back to life. In the end, all of our efforts will serve as a powerful statement of our new government's goals. The union will always fight for the working man. Fan-frickin-tastic. Interesting. Though the revolution against though the revolution against the tyrant, goddammit, was successful, the work of the party and of Comrade Savlin is not done yet. Though we were able to form a united front against the NKVD, now we must decide what form of freedom we will bring to the people of Russia. Comrade Savlin's own interpretation of Leninism is seen by many as a more humane option than Bukharin's reforms, but the effectiveness of the latter cannot be overstated. Whatever the people decide, Comrade Savlin will follow their will. Make sure to finish reforms before the start of First Reformed Party Congress. They will be unavailable afterwards. Let's do, socialist economic reforms and, socialist army reforms. Russia can't completely collapse because they could with Onega, Batov, insurgency, turtle, and go wing, volt. Right, yeah. That's a little sad, but I don't think they were completely scrapping it. I think they're just reworking it, at least in the Divine Mandate stage. Probably with BRC as well. So we'll probably get some sort of a rework and overhaul coming soon. And hopefully it'll return. That shit was stupid, but very funny in fairness. It was. For sure. Well, then again, the Far East is such a bitch to fight him that, quite honestly, Russia can still not unite anyway. Let's try to get this going. Far East is a fucking pain. That it is. Let's go ahead and do I can't just pick the basic ones. I'm gonna do the intro ones, but just do some basic stuff, and then I'm gonna go. I'll put it up to the poll, which if you're seeing this already, it might not be a bit too late, but I don't think it should be. We'll go ahead and put it to a community poll. You might have seen this already, the poll already at this point. If not, you might still have time to. But we're gonna vote on whether or not we're gonna do the Bukharinist path or the Savlinite path. Well, that's, we still have time for that yet. So, anywho. Let's do it in our hearts. There's no other place to start that than by improving the lives of our people socially. Our society is still mired in the tradition of bazaars. It's a huge issue for our appearance to the other warlords, and if we want to be a Leninist state, we have to look like one. We must take care of this problem at once. Women deserve rights, just like men. All traditions must be destroyed to pave the way towards progress. We can't let the people be oppressed any longer. Once we achieve a social revolution, there will be no more stopping what is right. If the people have more rights, they will work harder. The ancient beliefs and customs that are not compatible with socialism will be ended. After all, everyone must be equal if you want to accomplish the revolution. Have we cored this up yet? We have not quite yet. Still reducing poverty. It's happening. Well, we already have a choice. Valery Subline worked his fingernails between the two sheets of paper, plucking a report from the top of the stack and shifting the one he had just looked over to the bottom of the pile. He glanced up at his advisor, who eagerly awaited the General Secretary's decision on the matters enclosed. Shifting his gaze back downwards, he began to read the report on the status of the proletariat. A slew of various retellings of industrial accidents, working complaints, safety hazards, and calls for unemployment lay upon the page. Unemployment was up, accidents were down in numbers, but up in severity, and the masses overall seemed to be suffering. Calmly sipping his coffee, Sablin scrutinized the report for 10 minutes while thick, tense silence hung in the air around the SSR officials. Lastly, Sablin came up to the end of the third page, a tidy list of 2 options. One, a simple plan to increase regulation and improve workplace democracy. Another, pushed by Brown, was to improve the work on increasing infrastructure, reasoning that the improvements to society would make their way down the workers. General Secretary cut the silence with a concise response. I'm going to say it's best we focus on infrastructure. Although I don't think we got... Alright, this is infrastructure, I forgot. This is just railways, this is infrastructure. I wasn't paying attention, but I'm going to assume it went up. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. So to all the YouTube people, thanks for watching. Like if you liked, dislike if you didn't. Leaving comments, feedback, concern down in the comment section below. I read all the comments again. Appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Check out my various links down in the description box below as well. And yeah, that's it for now, folks. Thank you those for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.